It is my assignment to be in alignment with my purpose. Have a collision with purpose, 'cause you know that you're worth it, and your dream is worth capturing. If I'm not living on purpose, then none of it is worth it. My assignment is uplifting souls for the King, souls for the King, souls for the King.
Greetings, friends of the A Collision with Purpose movement. Welcome to Bridging Generation, Voices of Men in a Changing World. I am Dr. Laxter Stevenson. This groundbreaking podcast delves into the multifaceted experiences of men across different generations. In an era where societal norms and expectations rapidly evolve, this show offers young and older men a unique platform to voice their challenges, triumphs, and perspectives.
Each episode aims to foster understanding and bridge the gap between generations, exploring themes ranging from masculinity and mental health to career dynamics and personal relationships. By bringing together voices from varied age groups, the show sheds light on the commonalities and differences in the male experience, encouraging open dialogue and mutual learning. I am Dr. Garfield McCook, one of your hosts.
So whether it's a teenager grappling with the pressures of social media or a senior reflecting on the changing definitions of manhood, Bridging Generations is committed to uncovering the real stories of men navigating the complexities of a changing world. I am Augusta Foster, one of your hosts, not a doctor, but still glad to be here. Gentlemen, how are we doing this week?
All right, how are we doing this week is the question. This is a big day in the life of America, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It happened today.
What happened?
What happened?
Two huge things today. Two huge things today.
Well, let's talk about Dr. Martin Luther King.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up. We talk about Bridging Generation, Voices of Men. That was a voice that is still worth listening to.
Absolutely.
Big things happening there. Dr. McCook, what's your take?
It's history, serves us well in that many years ago, we did not have an opportunity to celebrate Dr. King on this day. And through the hard work of many and twisting and turning, it is now a public holiday. And for that, we must be grateful, because his voice was a voice from way back when that I think has afforded many of us today to be able to survive the way we are and live a comfortable life. I remember his speech when he says, about the mountaintop, and he may not get there with us. So we're still striving to get to the top of the mountain, and it's an ongoing journey that we have. But then again, this day, every year, we get closer to the mountaintop. So a very memorable day, a well-deserved holiday for all of us to celebrate and be thankful for.
And it's a holiday, but it's a holiday that we should be doing some good, right? We shouldn't just be sitting around.
Right.
I'm off work. I'm not going to school. It is a day that we need to celebrate by giving back, doing something to build communities, just as we're doing here at A Collision with Purpose. It's all about building communities, giving back, making a difference. So, Augusta, you said you're not the doctor, but let's talk to us.
So today is a huge day. I'm a huge fan of history. I'm a history buff, so I'll remind people Arizona was the last state in the Union to proclaim that this was a national federal holiday. And this is an amazing day. It should be gone and remembered through the annals of time. I was blessed with the opportunity to go with around 300 people this past week. 100 people this past week, but a number of people throughout different states, and read two schools in DeKalb and Fulton County, book about Martin Luther King Jr. And it was very integral in being able to touch the lives of those kids between the 2nd and 4th grade and reading the story, but not just reading to them this cute story that spoke of his life and his importance and his lasting presence, but really the thing that touched me was the feedback you received from these young minds, kids of all races, backgrounds, who asked the questions and their inquisitive nature speaking to how important he was. Even these kids, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, understanding that importance. And I'm really thankful to be able to live here at a time where moments where I look at people like him and those of my relatives who went through those things in the 50s, 60s, 30s, and blessed with the opportunity to now, things may not be perfect, but the leaps and bounds that we've made, I'm extremely thankful for.
Absolutely. So powerful. You know, we are the beneficiaries of Dr. Martin Luther King's work. And of course, it was not just him. There were many others, men and women, who walked the pavement, who walked the path and did the work. And now we're the beneficiaries. What does that mean? Now we must continue to work. This is our time, right? What they say, Dr. McCook, we're on deck.
Yes, we are on deck.
We are on deck. Well, let me say welcome to anyone who is watching. We are on Bridging Generation, Voices of Men, and living in a changing world. And man, do we have a changing world? Are we living in a changing world?
Today, something else occurred.
What happened today? What happened today?
My daughter lost a tooth. You know, I checked in. My dad's planning, a fishing trip. A lot of great things. We also inaugurated the 47th president of the United States of America. So yes, it's big day, ever changing.
That's a big day, because
big day.
Talk about a changing world. Dr. McCook, what's your thing? What's your thing?
Yeah, I got all these texts of what to do and what not to do. And I said to myself, I got to be an American. I got to respect the office, and I got to tune in to hear what's going on, because irrespective of what we say, the new president or whoever is president is our president. So I tuned in, and I wouldn't say enjoyed it, but I tuned in and listened to what was happening. And historically, it's also coincidental. I don't know if it's coincidental. It happened on Dr. Martin Luther King's Day.
Yeah.
So that was twofold. It was bittersweet, but again, history was made today by having the 45th president be the 47th president, and also us celebrating Dr. King's Day on that day.
So this is what I know, right? I didn't watch anything. And you know why I didn't? Because I was busy taking care of my business. I had work to do. I'm building what I need to build and to make a difference in the world that I live in. So I understand that is a system. You have a new president, and it is what it is. He's going to do what he's going to do. How does it affect me?
Right.
It doesn't. I am accountable. I am responsible for my outcome, right? And we know how to work and be resilient. Adversities or not, we know we got to get up tomorrow and do what we need to do. So my message out there, no matter how you see this inauguration, this new president for the next 4 years, it is what it is. Positive, negatives, what does it matter? You need to take care of you, your family, and your communities. That's what you do here on this platform. And some time ago, I had a friend who was a professional baseball player. And I used to go to him and say, can I get a ticket? And you give me a pass? And you know what he said to me one day? Man, I'm going to work. It's my job. When I go to these things I'm playing. He said, focus on your work, man. What you mean you want to come waste your time, come watch? We're working. So that is my outlook. That's how I see all these things. I know I have a commitment. I have a job to do. And that was my focus, just like it was yesterday and the day before. That was my focus. Has nothing to do with anything other than I have to do. All right, so we have a guest on tonight, and we don't want to hold him up, keep him backstage any longer. I think it is appropriate. Let's take a quick break, then we come back and bring him on. How about that? And in bringing him on, I'm going to play something heavy. All right? We're going to play iron because that's who we are. We're about becoming iron. So let's go there.
A tale is written of hearts that strive. Through fire and flame, they find their way, becoming iron where courage holds sway. Becoming iron, with hearts forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction, rising even higher. Displaying strength in the fiercest fight, becoming iron, shining in the night. Faces the darkest night, the empowered man fights with all his might. The resilient man stands unwavering and strong. The inspired man knows where he belongs. Together they rise, conquering fears, becoming iron through trials and fears. Becoming iron with hearts forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction, rising even higher. Displaying strength in the fiercest fight, becoming iron, shining in the night. Becoming iron, shining in the night. The brave man faces the darkest night. The empowered man fights with all his might. The resilient man stands unwavering and strong. The inspired man knows where he belongs. Becoming iron rose where he belongs. Becoming iron, shining in the night. Becoming iron with hearts forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction, rising even higher. Displaying strength in the fiercest fight. Men becoming iron, shining in the night. The brave man faces the darkest night. The empowered man fights with all his might. The resilient man stands unwavering and strong, shining in the night. And the tales unfold and the battle's new. Conviction's light sees them through. From abysses deep to the morning light. They becoming iron in the endless fight. Becoming iron with hearts forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction, rising even higher. Displaying strength in the fiercest fight. Men becoming iron, shining in the night. In the tales of old and the battles new, convictions like season through. From abysses deep to the morning light, they become iron in the endless fight. They become iron in the endless fight. In the tales of old and the battles new, convictions light sees them through.
Conviction light sees them through. Men becoming iron in the endless night. What's up with that? We're going to talk iron tonight. Welcome back to Bridging Generation, Voices of Men, and in a changing world. And my goodness, is this a changing world? Let's say hi to Lisa. Hi, Dr. Donna. Thanks for joining us. Please share, share, share. We appreciate that because Dr. McCook always says sharing is caring, and that's what it's all about. We're all about sharing. Augusta, you have a job to do, my brother.
Oh, yeah. So super excited to bring on a friend of mine, somebody who I've known for a while. Gentleman hailing out of the fine city of Dallas, Texas. He's been in stand-up comedy and entertainment for over 15 years. He's humble. He's charismatic. He's able to navigate audiences of all ages and demographics. He's been able to travel the world to Africa and through Asia with his talents. He's been on Comic View, featured on Gospel Comedy All Stars, Laugh Mob, Laugh Tracks. He's auditioning for roles on television, movies. He just did a movie back in 2020 called The Strong Box, which I got 20 minutes in. Extremely different flick. And I'm just proud of seeing who this dude has become from somebody who I stood next to at work and said they were going to do a thing. And when other people didn't believe it, we said, man, that dude is his passion, his conviction, and his talent, his intention. That brother's gonna make it. And I'm glad to introduce him, your favorite comedian's favorite comedian, your favorite writer's favorite writer, You in Hollywood, you know, my partner, Joe Foxx.
And let's bring him on. Let's bring him on with a drum roll, drum roll. There he is on Bridging Generation Voices of Men.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for having me. Shout out to you guys. Nice to meet you guys. Dr. Stevenson, Dr. McCook, and my man, the divorced dad reset.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Hey, man, thanks for having me.
Man, it's our pleasure, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for pulling up, Joe. Thanks, man. So,
For sure.
so man, let's get into it, man. For anybody who I refer to, is like I said, other people's your favorite comedian's favorite comedian, favorite writer's writer. We'll get to that later on when we talk Hollywood. But man, for those who are the uninitiated, man, give them your background. Tell them where you're from. Tell them who you are, man. You got folk from probably around 10 to 15 countries right now listening and watching, man. So
Okay. Do I need my passport to speak? Good grief, man. 15 countries, man. Shout out to y'all, man, on the platform. It's an honor to be here. My name is Joe Foxx, and I actually grew up in Oklahoma City, and I started doing stand-up in Dallas, Texas. And I am the son of a school teacher and a government worker. My father was actually in one of the first, I can't remember the name of the program, but it was the first affirmative action program when they, it was fresh in the government, giving blacks higher levels of government executive positions back when affirmative action was in its pure form, and it was actually helping black people, not before the flood of other non-black people. So I got this picture. There's probably maybe one or two non-blacks in it, but it was like a whole bunch of them, and they all came up through the ranks in of the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration. That's what it was for, and it was good growing up in that house. It was good growing up in that house. I appreciate give praise to my mother and father, and my brother. Oh, and shout out to my nephew. My nephew just turned 20. He's going to the University of Texas, Arlington, studying something had to do computers or coding or something like that. So shout out to him. He just moved into his own apartment, and I looked at his apartment. And I'm like, man, his apartment's nicer than mine. I don't and how far we have come, man. And I know he's probably paying 3 times as much, man, but it's so nice. I'm like, my first place was not like that. Not like no. So I started doing stand-up in Dallas, Texas, and I moved to Los Angeles in 2006. And fast forward to the Los Angeles World Airport, working for the Department of Homeland Security, Transportation Security Administration, and that's where I met that brother right there.
Top flight security of the world, Craig.
Top flight security.
Top flight security of the world, Craig.
We was working at the checkpoint for probably about. I started in T7. Where did you start?
7 bag room, trying to duck work, and at the time, living a fast life, meeting flight attendants, living fast. But that's another time.
Yeah, for another time. Yeah, but I started at T7, and then I lost my my employment status in T1. And that place has changed. That place has changed since I've left. It's funny. People still think I work there.
Yeah.
Don't you think? I know, because when you work at the checkpoint, you could never see somebody ever, and then you go, oh, you work for TSA, and it's like, okay, what terminal? If you never been to the other terminal, you'll never see it. You don't know. So I just disappeared from T1. So if I travel, they be like, oh, they think I'm undercover or something.
Yeah. They thinking they're like, oh, this brother's a government. Oh, he took after his father. It was an FAA test.
Yeah. I'm like, nah, man, I'm traveling. I don't work here anymore. But that was a good time. I'm glad I got the job, but it wasn't for me to stay there, but I'm glad, I still see some of the people. So you're in Atlanta, right, brother?
Yeah, man. Down here in Atlanta, man. Down here in Atlanta, life blessed. So thankful, man, to be down here. And I always think of it. And even when I reached out to you, I said, man, Joe has such an amazing story. Like, I remember shortly before you checked out, you were having conversations with people like, man, I'm really gonna lean on this. And for those who are watching, I believe at the time it was around like Last Comic Standing, might have been in like his first initial run, and you said, man, I'm trying out for this and that. We've seen some of the shows and we're like, man, he's really funny. We think he's gonna make it. So when you left, there were a number of super like, yeah, he's gonna make it. So even from that standpoint, like, we knew then. When did you know that like comedy was the thing? When did it hit you? Because we knew then, after seeing shows and just interacting with you. When did you realize this is the passion? This is it?
I would say I was a kid, man. I didn't know, I didn't have any direction in my youth, but I've always had I guess, I've always been drawn to, telling jokes and being the center of attention and, talking and speaking and making people laugh. I just didn't know how to do it. Outside of a few things, I wasn't, because like I said, I grew up in Oklahoma City, so there wasn't a whole lot of comedy clubs. I was underage, so it wasn't until I was old enough to really, college, when I was old enough to really do something about it. And I started, anytime I was in the talent shows, I was telling jokes, or I'd find outside talent shows where I could do some stand-up. Few and far between, but it wasn't until Dallas, Texas, when I started consistently doing stand-up. Yeah. Yeah, so I knew from a very early age I just needed to have some direction and build some consistency back then.
Gary, you got it, man. I know you ready to ask your question.
Yeah.
You might even want to do a little skit for us. You never know.
Right? Joe, the closest I came to comedy, I would say, was back in high school. I was a class clown. So congrats for you making it, beyond that.
You went to started operating on people,
right?
you held a totally different direction.
So I got this all mixed up. I'm here telling people, that, hey, guess we're going to be talking to Jamie Foxx tonight. We're going to be talking to Jamie Foxx. So
Joe was like, I've had that.
We're going to be talking to Jamie Foxx. But I think Joe, you can fill the shoe and fill it better.
Man, Jamie Foxx is a funny story. When I first started doing stand-up, that was very hard. My real last name is Fox. Jamie Foxx's last name isn't really Jamie Foxx. And I would do shows and I would get mad disrespect. People thinking like I was trying to copy after him. I even went to do a show in Texas when I first started. They actually wrote on a flyer. They had my picture and Jamie Foxx's name, and people hated me.
Yes. So
it's not cool at all. But I got to do it. I'm still here. Someone that actually told me I should change my name. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
No, you're the original. You're the original Fox. So tell me, you've been in stand-up for 15 years. That's a long time. A long time. Yeah. Not many people can start and still be here for 15 years. So during that time, is there something what's the most rewarding part of that journey so far?
The rewarding part is that, like Augusta said, like I said, I was gonna do something, and I'm doing it, and I'm still doing it. And I full transparency, like I'm not making a full living doing this, but this has kept me alive, and it's opened up doors for me to do so many more things in Hollywood just to stay out here, because I've been out here since 2006, so that's a little over 15 years there. But I've seen people come, I've seen people go, for whatever their reasons are. It's very rewarding that I'm still here.
Yeah, congrats on that. And I know it's a rough industry.
Like any industry, all industries are rough. I mean,
Yes,
you
yes.
you can make money now doing so many things. It's all of it's rough.
Right, right. And you've been blessed and fortunate to be able to even perform internationally. And I read that you were in places like Africa, Japan, Korea.
Yes.
Those must have been experiences of a lifetime that I'm sure you want to share with us. How does comedy translate across that how does it translate across these different cultures?
Well, it's important to remember that most of those, when comedians perform overseas, there's two different kinds: internationally and then overseas with
So
MWR military
yeah,
functions and events and I can't remember the name of the wellness programs for the troops, for the American troops overseas. So that's, you're performing to Americans on military bases. There was very few shows that I did that were outside of American
Audience?
bases, audiences. There was one, I think, matter of fact, that was probably Japan. That was probably the only one. And they got it, but it was kind of like a melting pot of everybody was in there. So it was like an international thing. Bahrain was like that, one place, but all the rest of them were military based, and it was an experience because when you're serving the United States Armed Forces, you're checked out of America, and they only show you what they need to show you to give you focus on what the task at hand. But sometimes they give you a slice of home, some entertainment, and they bring artists to entertain, blow off steam and stuff, and they appreciate it. There were large audiences, there were small audiences, but they were glad to see a slice of home, especially some stand-up comedy.
Okay, because I was a little concerned. I wanted you to give me some Japanese and some Korean language because I was just gonna see, how you did that. Africa I can understand.
Oh, that's easy. I didn't even have to use any words. I just said, like for food, I was like this. It's like,
Okay.
Joe, I was stationed in England and other places, so I sat in some of those audiences, be entertained by someone like you doing what you do. And for us military guys overseas, that was the best thing could ever happen. What a treat that was.
yeah, especially when the stars come, like when they can get the celebrities to come. Like me, they like, they're like, oh, he here. They're like, what? Jamie Foxx is coming to
Jamie Foxx is in
Bahrain.
like this is
amazing. Joe, we are in about half an hour into the show.
Yeah,
I want to ask you to do a skit for us. Just make us laugh.
Absolutely not.
Joe's like negative.
He made us laugh.
You know what's funny, man? Not all comedians are happy-go-lucky.
Uh-huh.
They're ready to tell jokes. Actually, a lot of us are mean and jaded.
Uh-huh.
Because we come out of Hollywood.
What was my guy's name?
Drugs.
What was his name? Greg Giraldo would often talk about how, and I think that's even like with people's upbringing, like with you, like where do like the jokes come from? Because so many, like you said, it comes from a place of, a lot of times, the humor comes from a place of hurt. Sometimes it's trauma. Other times, you get people who are naturally funny. I remember like hearing specifically like, the Greg Giraldos. I found Anthony Bourdain highly entertaining, and he met his end. So even in that, like where do a lot of comedians and yourself even come from with the stories, the development, like, because it always don't come from a place of fun.
No, but everybody is living a shared experience to some degree. To me, when you pull from life and you have a framework to build stand-up comedy in terms of how there's so many different styles. You find a style, you find your point of view, you find your stage presence, and you build an act. I think the most original people take the human experience and they tell it through laser focused eyes, their eyes, like this is my experience of our shared experience. And I think when you're relatable like that, I think those are the people who really people tend to like, because they understand, they relate to that person. And that can be, it can be out of a place of pain, or it can be out of a good feeling, but it's a shared experience. Like we all had a mother and father, we all had a job with a boss that we hate, we all don't like standing in long lines, we all grow old, we all have aches and pains, we all have these things. And then when and we all have anger, we all have feelings, and we've all been through a situation that's not so unique that someone else doesn't understand it or know somebody else is going through it. So that to me is where I think a lot of my comedy comes from. Like you say, you're a divorced dad, man. There's a lot of divorced dads in stand up.
Oh yeah, I know a couple.
So we just get on stage, or we're I'm not a dad, but I'm divorced. So if I tell divorce jokes, man, I'm good. Everybody understands that.
Right.
So
I mean, I can talk about being an uncle. I can do that. I mean, there's a lot of uncles out there,
talking about people getting angry, Joe.
Yeah.
When you're doing a show, can you recall a time when something you said turned someone off, so to the point where they start, the heckling and getting on your back? Can you recall a time when that happened in your career?
Yeah, I mean, that happens.
How many times has it happened?
I mean, that happens, from time to time. I mean, you just, when you build in the audience, that's a tightrope that all comedians have to walk. But I mean, it happens. But I'm a professional. I know how to deal with that, and it happens to the best of us. I've heard it. I've heard people say, "I don't have hecklers. They're lying." You see, I've seen the best of them have hecklers. Your favorite star comedians have to deal with a situation, so it happens. You just gotta, have something in the arsenal. Be able to do your job up there.
So you come back, huh? How you come back?
I mean, I'm a kind-hearted person. I've learned to manage anger. I'm learning how to do that and not, keep that same energy and then move on. But if you have to, it's war. It really is, to fight through emotions and somebody. And sometimes it gets ugly. It's gotten ugly for me a couple of times. I've had a dude. Now it's low lights. You up front, low lights. I can barely see you. You hardly moving. Like I can't help it if you don't look like a man. I can't help that. I can't. My eyes see what it sees. So if I ask and address you according to how I see you, that I'm just, hey, how you doing, ma'am? What? He looked like she was a hard face, strong face man.
Not Holiday Heart.
So I didn't know. So you have to address things, and
Yeah, I could see someone coming at you like that. But Joe, we have someone on this platform with us that believe they are a comedian, Dr. McCook.
We're all comedians.
At some point, he was in the business, right? That Dr. McCook.
Oh yeah, it's like, hey, I think as Joe would know, it's just humor. I mean, sometimes I think of some crazy stuff and I just share it, and it comes out, and you just have to pick the time and just use everything to make things light. I think that's how we should live. And
there's nothing wrong with that.
And that's the humorous part. I dabbled in a little theater back in New York. I remember going to HB's studio in New York, and one of my lecturers or teachers was the dad who played the Cosby Show, and this was so exciting, and they were telling you different stage, how you go on stage, you crack a joke and all that stuff. So Yeah, there's a little in there, and maybe it's not too late. Maybe I'll hang out, and Joe and I will be on stage soon.
But maybe Joe will give you some advice.
Right?
Joe give you some advice so you can, to do it.
Yeah.
My only advice is to write. I mean,
Yes.
you can't get through this business without being a good writer.
Right. So Joe, have you been on stage? I mean, you go on stage and you have your lineup and everything, and you're there and you're giving a joke, but you don't get a response from the audience, and you say, "Oh Lord, what the hell am I doing?" I mean, have you had those scenarios or situations? How do you bounce back?
When I first started, that maybe happened, when I was growing, I guess. Sometimes you draw a blank. I mean, people people say even seasoned professionals, sometimes they draw a blank. They probably address it and move on. It's nothing. Some people, they might get nervous or they forget their whole act. I mean, even Bill Cosby's done that. Dave Chappelle has done that. They just like, we figure it out. I mean, the key thing is to be unafraid and unapologetic. You there, you got the power, you got the microphone. They came to see they came to see you, and they came to see a show. So they can wait on it. Hold up. Having a bad day right now.
So where do you draw? Where do you draw your inspiration for your material? Is it personal experiences? You may have mentioned it a little earlier, but if you did, just elaborate. Observations, or is it a combination of both?
It's all of it. It's where I am right now. What is my life right now, and maybe a little while ago, like something that just happened in my life. When I say a little while ago, 5 years ago, like I went through something recently, whatever that means to you. I'm speaking on something that's currently going on, and example, I'm getting older, I'm talking about what it feels like and what I'm going through getting older. So, you know what I mean? So I'm drawing from that current state. I'm getting older. I'm going to nightclubs. I'm having to take bathroom breaks. I can't just wait till the end of the night to go to the men's room, because I'm in there until the whole club closes down. And people knocking on the door waiting for me to hurry up. I can't go like I used to go. 30 years old, when you get to be about 30, that's when the flow starts slowing down.
Shift.
So I can't go in there and drink 8 gallons like these 25 years old and just pour it out like a bucket in the men's room. No, I can't do that. So that's a getting older scenario that I pull jokes from and just talk about it. Hey, this happened to me the other day. Maybe it's happened to you. It can be anything. I went through a divorce. I talk about that all the time. Probably a little bit too much.
It's therapeutic. It's therapeutic.
It is therapeutic, but it's torture to people who are going through it too, and maybe that's not what they came here for. They want to come away from that. So I had to learn how to talk around people's issues, because they don't want to relive anything. So you talk about jokes around that. Like now the LA fires are going out. I'm hearing comedians, the fires, people losing their homes, the fires, people losing their homes. Oh, the low-hanging fruit jokes. So now I have to write jokes that can address a current event that everybody knows, but do it my way and not tire the audience out with drama, because you never know. It's hard to laugh when your house burnt down.
Yeah, you lost everything. Yeah.
But on the other side of that, people want to know that you understand. So it's okay. So you have to be a skillful comedian with good writing and good jokes to make them feel good, because laughter is healing.
Yeah. So you answered a part of the question. Next question I was going to ask about, how do you work with new material? But so since you've answered it already, do you test out your jokes and other comedians and family, or you just go on stage and just do your thing?
No, what you're talking about is trying out jokes. You go to an open mic, really any mic, but open mics are not big crowds. Sometimes it's a bunch of comedians. That's when you try it out on comedians. If comedians are laughing at your new jokes, then you may have something, and then you exchange ideas, and you have the respect of a camaraderie of comedians, and you kind of collaborate on the writing style. People, hopefully, it's people that you know, and not somebody say, it's like, hey, I got a joke for you. Hey, you can put this in your act. We appreciate you wanting to contribute, but we have this is a science, and we're all trying to get it right. And it can be anything. I mean, hey, you think this is funny? People that you trust, maybe non-comedians. Hey, what do you think about this? Do you understand this? You may not be performing it to them, but you might here's the idea. Do you understand this? That's pretty much it. Hopefully it's somebody honest.
Yeah. I was about to say in that business, and I know Wednesday. I just know I was like, he about to plug the Wednesday show. He gonna plug the Wednesday open mic.
Yeah.
But so even in those settings, you talk about trust. Not to go elaborate too deep on it, but even in that business, because a lot of it is, like you said, trust. All right, I could go on this small setting and that camaraderie and that kind of brotherhood and sisterhood that you have amongst other writers and comedians. There's also a lot of high key, low key theft. There are people who, the undermining. Talk about the importance of that camaraderie in the business to avoid a lot of the trappings that are, Hollywood in itself, man.
That's a good question. There's a lot of cliques. There's a lot of people who, they're loners. They're not. They don't treat people with respect. They're just out for self, and that may work for them, but this is not the business to be in where you're not likable and you can't work with, a wide range of people. As far as trust, I mean, the best thing to do in this business is to trust yourself that you're doing the right thing. Hopefully you are, and you're not compromising yourself, that you're making the right decision. I'm not cool with this. I'm gonna trust my judgment. And it's hard to do sometimes because we want it so bad. And sometimes we trust the wrong people, or we don't trust ourselves and say, maybe I shouldn't do this. It's okay to say no sometimes. That's a big thing. Trust yourself when you say no.
Right. That's
if that makes sense. That's a very, very loaded. There's a lot to unpack there with that word there.
No, man, go ahead with it, because I think, not just in light of the times, but I think there are a lot of people who, like you said, you've been in LA. I've grown up in it. I had a mother who worked politics side, so I understand a lot of the glad handing and cliques and friends and this person. And there's really a difficulty at times in that industry telling people no for whatever reason. All right, I don't want this part, or I don't want this, or I don't feel like that. But even from the standpoint of, I like the fact that you said compromising. Even in you going from comedy to now transitioning to right now, trying to get more TV work, more into the visual media scene. How is the difference? Like, what would you say is the biggest difference from, all right, look, man, I'm going to secure this space. I got my act. I got, 3 nights here at this space. I'm doing 2 at the Laugh Factory. I'm in a small room. Everybody that ran up chocolate sundaes. All right, hey, man, I'm going to do this. What is the difference between even securing those spaces versus the Hollywood gamut? And, like you said, how do the relationships play a role in that, for the people who don't like playing in the sandbox?
You talking about playing politics? It's hard to not play that game, but Hollywood, air quotes, Hollywood is more than just a city or area in Los Angeles. It's a mindset. and that can mean different things for different people. Hollywood could mean poor treatment. Oh, he Hollywooded me, man. He just all Hollywood. He didn't really mean what he said. He said he was going to do something and he didn't do it. Back to trust. Sometimes when you're working with people and you give them something, you trust that they're going to reciprocate and give it back. Sometimes that never happens, and that hurts. Like if I do a show, I want my friends to do that same show. I'll be like, hey, man, I had a good time with this person over here, man. You need to give them your number. Or you speak highly of other people when they're not around.
Right.
That's when you do the flip side, you smile in somebody's face. And then when it's time to speak up, hey, do you know any good comedians that might be interested in doing this? And you don't say their name, or if they say their name and you don't say anything good about them, man, that's Hollywood and somebody. That's a negative word, but Hollywood is like a grand place where people can be, achieve their dreams. To me, it's lost its luster because you can be great wherever you are. Hollywood will call, or if they don't call. There's a lot of good, great comedians, great artists, producers, filmmakers. The Hollywoodness of it, that's subjecting yourself up to scrutiny, exploitation, and subjugation sometimes in the minds of people who don't know what the industry is about. But for me, I've been fortunate to not be jaded, so to speak. I've been rejected, but this is a game of rejection. You have to be able to be true to yourself and trust that you are good. And that's in anything. What you put out there, what you master, what you are giving to the people, you have to trust that you like it, they're gonna like it. It came from you. So you got to trust that God gave you that. And he don't give you nothing bad. He gives you stuff good. So it's your responsibility to put it out there. No matter where you at, Hollywood or not.
Hollywood
Talk
or
about
not. Gentlemen, let's take a quick break and we'll come back. We'll continue the conversation. You're watching Bridging Generation, Voices of Men. Our guest is Mr. Joe Foxx, master comedian and many other things. All right, so let's take a quick break and we'll come back.
I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I wake up in the morning and I praise the Lord. I thank him for his protection and I walk in his steps declaring that today's provision is set up for me. I love God and I love my friends. I'm a boy kid. I'm a boy kid. I'm a boy kid. I put on my armor and I read his word, blessing come out of my mouth. Cause I know to whom I belong, I am bold for Christ. Holy Spirit dwelling within me, carrying his presence wherever he sends me. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. Loving others as he told me to pray for healing, miracles to see, knowing my identity in Christ, he is in me. I am a bold kid, he loves me, standing firm on his word, proclaiming everything I heard, not afraid because he is with me. Be bold. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. Put on my armor and I read his word, blessing come out of my mouth. Because I know to whom I belong, I am bold for Christ. Holy Spirit dwelling within me, carrying his presence wherever he sends me. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back to Bridging Generation, Voices of Men. Just want to read a quick comment here. It's Mrs. Hilda Hibbert said it is good to hear how these two young men express the reality of trust. To trust self and make sure you do the right things. So that's a big thing. Trust is so important in everything that we do, right? In every single thing. Now, let's talk a little bit about, you've been in the business, Joe, for over 15 years. How have you noticed your comedic voice evolving? And also, are there any comedians, past or present, that influence you?
Sure. My voice, I don't think it's really changed, but more developed over time, if that makes sense. Not so much change, but it's like I'm developing my voice, trying to figure out, who I am and all that stuff. And I used to be like this, or I don't think it's a whole lot of that. It's like my journey through doing stand-up is just becoming who I already am. Now I can express that to you through joke form. That makes sense. So the art form, the craft is something that it's a lifetime of trying to master. And it's amazing to see people like Bill Cosby. I believe he's mastered it. Even some like George Carlin, he mastered it. Anybody that's been doing this for so long, like the names that they've mastered it to some degree. And I'm inspired by all of them. I've worked directly with a lot of people. I'm currently on tour with Tony Rock on the Born to Rock tour, and I've learned so much from Big Brother in comedy, working directly with him and living this life with him. I've worked with Faison Love. I've worked with Lavelle Crawford. I've shared the same stage with D.L. Hughley, which is to say I've been on one of his comedy shows. A lot of people say, I'll work with such and such. No, he was just in the room when you was there. You stop lying.
Not lying. We back to the line.
Stop lying. You ain't worked. You haven't worked with him.
You're in the same space. You're in the same space.
He was there when you was there. I'm not. It's funny. I have a lot of pictures. I'm horrible with pictures in this day and age. Social media, you can create a whole narrative and persona and perception of yourself, and it's good that you do that. But sometimes it's fake.
It's inauthentic.
Yeah, like this picture here. That you don't know him. That's not real. We all know each other. We don't know each other like that. But it's cool to see people across, all levels, and you get the respect of, OG. Somebody called me an OG comic. I'm like, that's respectable, but I got OGs. OGs are the cats in the game that like they OGs is dead.
Yeah, like.
And now they're the OGs, man. Now my OGs is alive and well, man.
OG.
I know, I respect, but I appreciate it. But it's like the younger generation; they can see somebody that has some longevity. So much respect to the younger guys.
And you're doing it for some people. They see you.
Yeah, they see me.
Right.
Yeah, so that feels good. That's also rewarding when
Absolutely.
The younger people come to me and ask, how I did it, or what I think, so that's rewarding too.
Well, I tell you one thing. You are on Bridging Generation, Voices of Men. We see you. We're looking at you right now. You're the man.
Hey, thank you, brother. It's an honor, man. It's an honor to be.
Big up. Dr. McCook.
Yeah, I was just looking at his name and saying, I'm just trying to see how I could. I wouldn't say help him, but let's say you don't go by Joe Foxx anymore. You go by J Foxx. You think that would have an impact? Hey, this is J Foxx.
No.
Joe was like, no.
It's his name. He ain't copying nobody's stuff. Other people need to get off his name.
My name.
They need to get off his name.
So Joe, what's next for Joe? I mean, any upcoming projects? You mentioned that you're on tour right now. Where's the tour? When you say now, where's that?
Now, that means I'm currently touring, doing dates. San Antonio, Texas is this week, at the LOL Comedy Club in San Antonio, Texas. That's this weekend on the Born to Rock tour, and then we're doing a couple other dates. Wow, they're starting to run together. So I'm like, one flight at a time. But I know San Antonio's coming up, Virginia Beach is coming up, and we'll see, what the rest of February is looking like. But locally here, I do a mic on Wednesdays in Burbank, and then I'm performing at different places around Hollywood, around Los Angeles.
I don't hear Atlanta on the list. What's up?
Because we haven't done that date yet. It's been a minute. Atlanta, the Atlanta Comedy Theater. Haven't been. We usually do that once a year. So next time when I'm in Atlanta, you guys got to come out to the Atlanta Comedy Theater.
That is it.
Most definitely.
It'll be a good show.
What's up?
Most definitely, man.
So
you
you said we. You said we. Who are the we's?
The We, that's on the Born to Rock tour. That's on the Born to Rock tour. That's Tony Rock as the headliner. I am a feature act with him, and we got Trey Elliott and John Grimes, other fellow comedians on tour. So Atlanta is definitely a date that we've done several times in the past, and we'll see what those dates are coming up.
So is it one of those experiences where one actor, one comedian is out, and then Joe Foxx goes out, and the place is torn up?
Sometimes it happens that way. It may happen once or twice like that. But I'm in a space right now where I'm trying to build, my audience. Like I took we were talking about trust. I trusted myself, and I got my own show on the road. So I'm building that consistency where I'm on my own as well. And I think I think comedians, you need to be able to perform at the highest level possible, whatever that is for you. But when you're the guy that's putting the butts in the seats, that's what you need to strive for. Or else, why are you doing? Why are you doing this?
That's a good thing. Why would you do it? What if you weren't doing what you're doing now? Joe was not a comedian. What would you be doing?
I can't really imagine. I can only speculate, but I'd probably be in trouble some kind of way. Or some level of freeloader, or somebody that's up to no good, and probably up to no good. I'm not gonna say a criminal. I'm not suggesting that. Like this, comedy, save me from a life of crime or something. But I'm sure I would do something. I'd be up to no good, not realizing my potential.
Yeah. So what a calling, man! What an arrival! Congratulations! You found your place.
I've got to ask this question because how you said you're going out now on your own, and you got to talk more about Wednesdays, because Wednesdays is an open mic for those who are listening. If you're in the LA area, this is the structuring of jokes, the getting the support, all of that. Everything that you're saying right now leads to another one of the reasons we do this show, which is a lot on not just leadership and creativity and purpose, but mentorship. Right. Like you being able to go out and be like, all right, look, I want to stand on my own too, so I could go and perform this. But I also, in the years I've known you, you also a brother who will always, hey man, how do I look? You've always reciprocated. Right. You've always been that person. So even in this, where do you see yourself now that you are an OG? And I'll tell you, it's partly because you got the salt. I knew you when you didn't have no salt.
Hey, I didn't die.
But now, you at Unc, as the young folks say, you at Unc or OG status. How do you see yourself serving as like that young OG, that mentor for others, to be able to open a lane up for the next generation of comedians in the field?
Well, I always would like to be someone who can drop some nuggets, of wisdom to anybody, whether it be a stand-up comedian or somebody that's trying to be an actor. Sometimes I get that a little bit because people don't know how to start. Whatever I've sought out to do, I've always tried to go to someone to find some level of mentorship to figure out and not be afraid to ask for help and tell people this is what I'm trying to do. Will you help me? You know, it's just that simple. Will you help me? That cuts out somebody that's gonna not take you seriously. They'll tell you if they're willing to help or let you in the room, but you have to prove yourself by doing it as much as you can for yourself before somebody to help you. And that shows. That shows when people helping themselves.
Facts.
People are more likely to help you because they can see you helping yourself. You know, so mentorship is very, very, very important. You know, I'm not, you know, and I'm not a mentor to everybody, but you know, you can't mentor everybody. I guess you know what is it? What's that saying? When the student is ready, the master.
The teacher here.
Yeah,
like something about the student becoming the teacher.
There's something to that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I ain't ready. I ain't got no mentor. I don't know.
But I'm sure you've been mentored, and now you're mentoring.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm
all about, right?
I've always thought of myself as a student of the game, and you know, trying to learn how things work, and to try it, and not be afraid to, you know, not being afraid of rejection, and take instruction and criticism. You know, that's what this is. That's how the greats get great.
That's it. Right. What about the Green Room podcast? What can you share with us on that?
The Green Room podcast is a podcast that that Tony and Trey and myself started because we would always be in the green room and we would have talks, discussions. And one day we was on social media and we went live on IG and we was just dropping game. It was mainly, you know, Tony was the focus of it, but they would always ask questions about comedy. A lot of comedians would see. They would ask questions about stand-up. They would ask, it would be anything. But this is what goes on in the green room was the idea. And then we did a formal, you know, green room podcast instead of just going live on Instagram. So we're on YouTube, live from the green room. I think the handle is the IG page, but that'll take you to the YouTube page. So please check it out. Live from the green room on YouTube and live from the green room podcast on Instagram.
Yeah, man. It's a great program, man. Great program. Good conversations, not just about comedy, but they're, you know, like you said, at times comedians serve as a lens for everything else. Many times they almost are, their purpose is almost to be, hey, I'm going to be the voice for the person who kind of has a fear to speak up maybe on this topic. So yeah, I like the fact that y'all have the convo, not to say it's a barbershop conversation, because that, you know, connotes that it's only black folk, but it's like just having that freewheeling conversation to discuss that array of topics is amazing, man.
Yeah, we're getting there. And, you know, we've just been doing this for a year, which is an accomplishment in itself. And, you know, shout out to those brothers for being consistent. And we're going to take this and build a platform like you guys, man. And we want to go international too. So we can have conversations like that and give people a little peek into the life of, you know, stand-up comedy and, you know, just life and how we're living it, you know. So that's why I'm happy to be a part of that.
And, you know, that's a big deal, man, because I know what this world needs is more laughter.
Yeah, we need more laughter and we need a lot more truth too.
Yeah. We need that.
More truth and less twerking.
Yeah, there you go. More truth and less twerking.
You know, you said it's a very important day today. TikTok is back.
Yeah. Not yeah.
It is back. Full force.
Yeah. They shut TikTok. It wasn't even 24 hours and broke the whole world in half.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. People,
wait, well, you ain't got no place to twerk, do you?
Yeah. Go outside, touch grass.
All right, gentlemen, we're drawing down on time, and Joe.
Yes, sir.
Here's an opportunity for you to anything that you didn't get a chance to say, any questions we didn't ask you, just put it out there, man.
Well, I'll just end it by saying this. I'm proud to be in any space where there's Black men doing something positive and giving back, man. Man, shout out to y'all for doing this. And, you know, I'm definitely going to go back and check out the episode. I'll post it. And I just thank you for the opportunity in Augusta. I honestly, on social media, this is what it's good for. You can follow somebody, what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm just proud, and you know, I'm humbled that you've been following along for this long, man. So I appreciate you, brother. And you know, I'm gonna check your stuff out, and this I'll share it, and you know, it's worthy. So I appreciate it. So that's what I want to end it off saying, man.
Yeah, man. I love that in all the years that I've known Joe's always been consistent. He's always been a brother of integrity, and how he said earlier, just the not sacrificing who you are, maintaining who you are is everything that I've seen the brother stand for. Even when he got up at a TSA and said, God got something better for me, y'all had his screening. I always knew, I was like, man, you know, this is a brother who's going to succeed because of his effort, his intentionality, his integrity, and the man's funny.
Yeah, man, and being fired never felt so good. He should have seen this dude. I mean, I don't know when you left or how you left, but when you get fired, I mean, people, it was like a big deal. It was like an interrogation room, a file came out, it was going through it, and I'm like, what is this? Just tell me where I gotta leave my uniform. I'm done with it.
Doc, your final thoughts?
Yeah, you know, I hear about integrity and everything, but I don't know if in the comedic world there's a thing as a PG comedian. And when I say
Pretty
PG,
good.
Pretty good, yeah, that's a good one.
Pretty good. No, you know, I've gone to some comedic or comedian show here in Atlanta. Let me tell you, if they're not using a certain word, there's no joke. And
What
I'm
is
saying,
that certain word, Dr. McCook?
the bomb. If they're not hitting the bomb, the crowd is not laughing, you know. And I'm saying, so you seem like you're not one of those comedians. You're a PG. I would say PG-13, you know, but you know where I'm going.
Well, in the spirit of trust and integrity, I am a rated R comedian. I do adult humor. I'm not nasty. I'm not crass. I'm not a blue comedian, as it were, but
Okay.
I do adult humor. I communicate to the people, and I think I'm well received with my truth. And you know, when they don't, you can accept it or reject it. It is what it is.
So that's rated R.
It would probably like I'm working clean now. I haven't said not one curse word, but
Okay.
rated R is something is the subject matter, and maybe certain words that you say. It's not just those certain words; it's the subject matter itself, and that's adult humor. So I'll say it like that.
All right. Well, thanks, and you know, good luck to you. Before you go, make sure you tell us exactly where we can find you.
I'm not going to tell you where I live. That's crazy.
No. The IGs and the PGs and all the G's.
Drop the Addy.
Hey, Joe, be careful how you put your personal information out there, man.
I tell you what, you want to find me through what I just dropped right there. You get one of them CIA specialists to come there, triangulate my position or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but good luck, brother. It's refreshing to hear young folks like yourself doing what you're doing and enjoying what you do.
Man, I am 40 plus years old.
You're still young.
both these brothers
I
is
didn't
up
say
there.
when I was 40. I'm older than that.
He's young with a lot of life. He's living.
Yo, Dr. Stevenson, I'm gonna grow. I'm a silver fox too. I just gotta let me grow mine out. I'll get done.
Pop it. Hey, Joe. Next time I see you, I want to see it out here, man.
I'll try. I'm patchy right now.
I want to see. And then little black stuff you have in there. Get rid of them little black stuff.
Look, he like let that wisdom show.
No, get rid of that little black stuff.
It's right here on the chin.
Yeah, get rid of that stuff, man. I want to see it all white.
I'll get some of that batanana oil, whatever you call it.
What is it?
Whatever it's
Oil.
called.
I'll get a Dr. Sabian subscription.
Okay. But Joe, I tell you, man, awesome, powerful conversation we have had with you tonight. You know, your journey through comedy, man, storytelling and resilience it's not just inspiring. You know, you talk about how they got rid of you on the job and look at where it landed you.
Well,
right?
I was gonna be here anyway. TSA was just getting in the way.
It just is, right? So, but you know, your story is a testament to how the voices of men from all walks of life continue to shape our culture.
Yes.
You know, your ability to bridge generation with humor.
That's
Whether
right.
on stage, and you did some of that tonight, or in film behind the scenes, is a reminder that comedy is more than just jokes.
Yes.
We talk about trust and how important that is.
Yes, very so. That's very much so.
Yeah. So it's a way to unite, to heal, and to tell stories of those who came before us and those who are yet to come. Right? You know,
and if you can't laugh at yourself, laugh at other people.
Absolutely.
Facts.
Absolutely. You know, we talk about the world we're living in, and you know, it's constantly evolving, changing, right?
Yeah.
But having someone like you with your voice remind us that it's important to be authentic in who you are, to know who you are,
yes,
and not to be afraid or to be shy, to speak up, and that's what you're doing. So, you know, let laughter live on. Let trust continue to capture us and to drive us as we do our work. You know, to our listeners out there, if there's one thing to take from today's conversation, is that every journey has its trials, its tribulations, but through purpose and perseverance, we can all carve out a space to be heard. And that is what I'm hearing that Joe did. He's carved out that space to be heard. So my suggestion is keep pushing. Anyone who's listening, including you, Joe, Garfield, Augusta, just keep pushing, keep sharing, and most importantly, keep laughing.
Thanks.
Don't take yourself too serious. Keep laughing. And make sure to follow Joe Foxx when he comes to Atlanta. If you're in Atlanta, we're all going to just jump in there to check him out, do his thing. All right? And again, I will say, as far as Bridging Generations, Voices of Men, we're not only about those other stuff. We're also about having someone like Joe come on here, because, you know, and show his stuff. And that is exactly what he did tonight, and how important that is, what he did. So, Augusta, I'm going to turn it over to you to do your thing and take us out. And Joe, if you could just hang around after the show for a minute, we'd appreciate it. Augusta, do your thing.
Perfect. Hey, so we thank you all for joining us this week on Bridging Generation Voices of Men. Follow every account that you see here. And as always, be safe, be blessed, be well. We'll see y'all here next week. Same time, same channel, like they used to say for Batman. Peace.
A trail is written of hearts that strive. Through fire and flame, they find their way, becoming iron where courage holds sway. Becoming iron, with hearts forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction rising even higher, displaying strength in the fiercest fight.